Welcome, fellow post-apocalyptic survivors, to a brand new series playing Dustland Delivery. If you would like to skip the game's overview, or the details about the series, or even the intro tutorial, please use YouTube chapters, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome, everybody, to a brand new series covering Dustland Delivery. Dustland Delivery is a post-apocalyptic survival business simulator. You scour the wastes for profit, complete missions to grow your trading empire, and assemble a ragtag band of adventurers to turn your city into the capital of the Dustlands. In this specific series, I will be playing the short tutorial so that you all understand how to play the game, and then starting a new scenario, the only scenario available, called Haggard Plains, and I'll be playing on hero mode. The overall goals that I work on, once I'm doing this scenario, will be determined by polling, but I'm asking for, no backseating and no spoilers otherwise, so as to not ruin it for the people that don't want it ruined. So let's get started with the tutorial. Welcome to the Dustland Delivery Driving School, where you'll learn how to make deliveries in a land filled with maniacs and monsters. Really? You're ready to go? You haven't even started your truck, champ. Now, go buy some fuel and start your truck. So, task started, driving school lesson number 1. I will go over all of the UI elements once the tutorial is over, but for now, we're just following along, and it wants me to go buy some fuel. So if you're curious where your tasks are, it's in your taskbar over here in the bottom right, and it wants me to buy 500 units of fuel and then start my truck. So go to the store, buy, and here's a slider, and you can see the quantity and the price. So in this game, scrap is your currency for the most part. There's other types of currency, but scrap is the main one. So there we go, purchase 500 fuel, and then start truck. Great. Now let's test your driving skills by driving to a nearby city. Open the map, then right-click to set a waypoint. So if we open the map, which is this big button over here, you can see you can right-click waypoints, and you will follow these waypoints. If you hit reset, you will remove them all, and you can also drag them around. The orange circles are the mountain ranges, so as you can see, you can't drag your waypoints through mountains. And we need to be going to Machagua here. So let's go and hit depart. So this is the truck. These are the crewmen. Some stats about your speed and your horsepower. And I'll go over the rest of the UI. But for the most part, in this tutorial, it just shows you how to use your truck at a very basic level, but the game is a lot deeper than that. That I can assure you. It gets quite complicated quite quickly, in a fun way. So here we are at Machagua. Task completed. I've arrived. It's situated on snow-capped mountains. This city is used because of its ample water to grow rice. And we gained a little bit of experience. Impressive. Well, not really. You drove down a straight road across a flat plain. Anyways, let's move on to the next task. As you can see, the city produces nothing but food. As a result, the rations here are dirt cheap. Over to the west is Tireton, an industrial city that produces tires. They can sell tires for cheap, but with all of their workers, they are always got a shortage of food. See where I'm going with this? Buy a ton of rations in Machagua, sell the rations in Tireton, buy tires in Tireton, sell those tires back here. Remember, buy rations, sell them in Tireton. Yeah. Okay. So, we go to the store, and we can buy rations. If these scraps are red, it means I don't have enough scrap. I have 1280 scrap. You can see them in the top left. And then also, depending on how much you buy, it changes the price. So you buy very little, you're only paying 115 profit versus base price. And the more you buy, the lower your profit is. So as you can see on this end, the profit margins go down because I buy out so much of their stock. All right, so we're going to buy, let's say, 40. That'll work. And then we're going to leave the city. Go over to Tyreton, which is right over here. And I think they said Tyreton was to the west, but it definitely looks east of me. So let's call that west or something. I'm going to go off script from the tutorial real quick. So these bars here is the stats of your individual people. And as you can see, this truck can have up to 4 drivers. Or 4 people in the truck. All of them could be drivers, but sometimes they also serve other purposes like gunman, shotgun, you know, so on and so forth. And if we click here, I can see that my fatigue is getting rather high. So that was what the warning in the top right was about. As you drive, of course you get tired. And you can either camp on the roads or camp in town. It's usually safer to camp in town, but it is also expensive. Your crew is exhausted. Your crew has reached its fatigue limit and is now exhausted. Exhausted truckers can't drive or fight, rest or sleep as soon as possible to reduce your fatigue. All right, so I can hit rest here. A rest is a brief, like laying back in your car seat type thing. Camping is like setting up camp and sleeping. For this tutorial, I'm just going to do a quick rest and then set back out. You've arrived in Tyreton. This city grows rubber plants to fuel its flourishing tire industry. All right, store. And I am selling rations. Now, I don't want to sell all of the rations because I have to eat rations to survive. I'm going to sell 40, which is what I purchased. And then I'll buy, let's say, 32 tires. I'm going to leave the city. In this specific city, it doesn't have an inn. It only has a shop. Cities can have different infrastructure, like inns, bars, repair shops, etc. Generally speaking, if they don't have an inn, you can camp at the city. So I'm going to hit camp up here this time. It takes a little bit of time to actually set up camp. It's not an instant action. And then I'll hit sleep. It passes a whole bunch of time, but now, as you can see, my fatigue is reduced to 33, down from nearly 100. All right. I'm going to reset my waypoints and head back to Machagua. Depart. You have arrived in Machagua, situated at the foot of a snow-capped mountain. Okay, so store, sell, and I'll sell, let's say 28 of my tires. And then click instructor for the next tutorial. Got the money? I do. Here's 1,500 scrap. In fact, I have 2,400. Great job, the instructor says, as you watch him move the scrap from your truck to his. Learn how to make a buck in the Dustland. Now get. You've got a whole wide world waiting for you. You're taking my hard-earned scrap? Think of this as tuition. Did you think my time was free of charge? You're about to protest, but after seeing the burly armed man behind the instructor, you start to think he may have a point. Fine. Alright, so that was the tutorial, and I'm going to be covering a lot more of the game mechanics in the full-fledged scenario now. So let's get that started. The Haggard Plains. There's different types of game modes up here. There's Hero Mode, where you're playing as your character, not as your truck, meaning that you are inseparable from your truck. Without Hero Mode, you can swap around your crew freely. As Hero Mode, you are the person in the truck, and I wanted to play Hero Mode. Ascetic Mode, Fate Mode, Infection, and Salary Mode are ones that I'm not going to be choosing. And I'm going to be customizing my character. I want to build it myself. I don't like the way they designed it for me. So I'm going to hit Custom Character. And my name is going to be Rad, and I'm going to be Rad the Driver. Pretty straightforward. There is different types of trucks you can pick over here. This is the standard truck, which I will be picking. But the stats are as follows. Haul is how much damage your truck can take before you lose. Comfort is how fatiguing the truck is to drive. The more comfortable it is, the longer you can drive before having to rest or sleep. Max load is your carry weight. Power is your horsepower. Horsepower is affected by weather, terrain, whether or not you're overloaded, etc. So the more powerful the truck is, the faster you'll move, and the better you are to handle rugged terrain and bad weather conditions. Fuel usage is how much fuel per hour you use, and then max crew, because you can have more than just you alone as the driver. In fact, you should probably almost always have 2 people. There's other trucks. So there's this truck here, which is like super fuel usage, very heavy max load, but not very comfortable. And then this truck, which is like a sprinter truck, which only has a max crew of 2, but it moves a lot faster and is a bit more comfortable. I'm going to be, like I said, playing the standard truck. I'm also going to assign my traits and points. So as you see here in the details, let me put up the details. I'm going to be picking some pre-selected traits. So I'm going to be picking Happy-Go-Lucky, which greatly increases the stress limit. I'm going to be picking Introvert, which reduces the amount of stress loss from partying. I'm also going to be picking the Teetotaler, which is the reduced stress reduction from drinking. So basically, I don't like to party and I don't like to drink. I know, I'm a bore. But last but not least, Sociable, which I'm more likely to get on well with other characters. So those are my traits. And as you can see, there's a whole long list of traits. I'm not going to go through all of them at this point. I'm also going to assign points. Points are a little weird, where you spend books to earn points. And books can also be spent to learn blueprints as well. Now, because I'm in hero mode, husbandry, cooking, fishing, foraging, hunting, and farming barely matter in hero mode. Charm is helpful if you're trying to make friends with people. And then I'm going to spend a little in all the other stats. But I'm going to be mostly concerned with focus and crafting. Focus and crafting are going to be kind of the important ones for me. So attack, defense, focus, speech, crafting, intellect. And I have 1 extra book. That's fine. In terms of extra equipment, I am going to take a crowbar. And it reduces the amount of initial scrap that I have at the game start by taking equipment, but I'd rather have the equipment. I'm also going to take tactical wear, which increases my charm and fitness. If you're wondering, the crowbar increases attack and crafting. And then I'm also going to take glasses. Glasses increase focus and charm. So mostly taking equipment that helps with charm, fitness, crafting, attack, focus, charm, so on and so forth. You can see the theme here. Initial relations. So these are the different factions in Haggard Plains, Dustland. And I want, just sort of okay relations with everybody. Kind of a blank slate. Civitas is a little bit lower than every other. Civitas is kind of a crime syndicate. Well, as are Dust Wolves for that matter. But these are my starting relations here. And that's customizing my starting hero. So let's confirm. And so it begins. Until today, you were just another ordinary Dustlander, a small-time merchant in Valleyville. It was a simple life, but a comfortable one. And now you never saw the Dustland with the cynicism others seemed to. Looking out into the vast world you had hardly set foot in, you saw opportunity and adventure, an unknown awaiting to be known. One day, you decided you weren't going to waste any more time. You sold all of your worldly possessions to buy a truck. You've just picked up your truck from a dealership outside the city. Now it's time to return to Valleyville to get the rest of your belongings. Let's hit the road. Alright, so all of the UI elements I'm going to go over as quickly as I can that the tutorial did not cover. So up top you have your scrap and your fuel. If you click the question mark, it actually shows how far you can go, because it is your fuel usage per hour. So I use 8 fuel per hour, moving 40 kilometers an hour, so I can move 7480 kilometers. Then you have your water. There's 2 types of water. There is drinkable water and wastewater. Wastewater can be boiled into drinkable water. Wastewater can be obtained through like water collectors. Wastewater can also be used to cool your engine. And if you cool your engine, you will use wastewater before you use potable water. Then you've got your ammo, which is for guns, your food, measured in days of food, how many tires you have, clout. So clout is sort of like a universal, I don't know, universal acknowledgement or something. There is two ways to measure what people think of you. There's virtue, which is like good or evil, and then there's clout, which is like how well known you are. And you can use clout, kind of like reputation, but not so. Yeah, I would say it's kind of like reputation. And the way it's useful is like sometimes you will be faced with really tough situations, but you can use your clout to get out of it, throwing your reputation around. And then creds. Creds are sort of like theoretical credits, and you can exchange scrap to creds and creds to scrap with a handling fee. Scrap is physical and is on your truck and weighs a lot. So if you have way too much scrap and you don't know how to use it, you can convert it into creds for a little bit of a loss so it doesn't weigh you down. It's not the only way to deal with a lot of scrap, but it's one way. Over here you have infection and risk. So the world here is honestly a post-apocalyptic zombie wasteland, kind of like Fallout. The deeper the red, the more dangerous it is and laden with zombies. And when you hang out in infected zones for too long, you start to get attacked by swarms of zombies. And that's what infection and risk is. You can rest, you can camp. I don't want to click these buttons because if I do, I'm going to be forced to take those actions. You can cool your engine with the water that you have. You can check your tires and whether or not they're damaged and need replaced. And then if you have damage to your tires, engine, or hull, you can repair that with this button over here. The forecast tells you what kind of weather that you have. So it might rain in 4 hours or be cloudy. You can honk your horn. Honking your horn, as you can see, has increased my zombie risk a little bit. Not a problem because I'm about to leave. Down here you have the horsepower impacts. So depending on the weather and the terrain, it can dramatically affect your horsepower. So there is light rain, heavy rain, dust storms. There is plains, forests, swamps, mountains, snow, etc. There's so many different conditions that can affect your truck and your truck's speed, even to the point where if you have too many negative conditions, you come to a complete standstill. You won't be able to move. Here is your fuel per hour and your comfort. So 8 fuel per hour and 3 comfort. Your hull, your tires. Down here is your engine temperature. If there's any slowing issues, which currently there are none. What season it is, so it's currently spring. And it's day 07 in the morning. These are the people that are in your truck. So I have space for up to 4. And then here is your stats. So you have all of your stats here, like defense, ammo, accuracy, focus, etc., etc. You can tell yourself to eat, drink coffee, drink alcohol. Coffee and alcohol are very rare in the wasteland. Coffee restores your fatigue and alcohol reduces your stress. The game does not let you drive drunk. So drinking alcohol to reduce stress also means that if you don't have a designated driver, you're not going anywhere. You're just sitting on your hands for like many hours. These are your current conditions, and you can click it to know, but happy increases your speech, focus, defense, and attack by 20%. So it's good to be happy, of course. Charm, sexual orientation, whether or not you have any partners, companions, relationships, so on and so forth. Your opinions about other crewmen, which there's no one else in the truck, so I don't have any opinions, and your likes and dislikes, which are generated randomly depending on your experience in the world. Then automation. So here I'm having my character automatically eat, drink, swap drivers when they're fatigued, and swap tires when they're damaged. I am not having it automatically stop for dust storms, so I will continue driving in dust storms. This crew tab is just the summation of all of the stats of your crewmen summed up. So if you have like 4 crewmen with 10 attack each, you'd have a crew attack 40, which shows you the kind of stats that you have when entering situations. And then the factions. And I'll get into that a little bit later, but I'm not a member of any faction. I'm just on somewhat neutral terms with all of them. Down here is a really important button, the parts. So you can add parts to your truck to make it more efficient, which I'll get into a little bit later, but like a seating pad decreases driver fatigue. A big bed increases recovery from sleep. There is combat parts, driving parts, hull parts, terrain parts, weather parts, projectile, headwear, clothing, gun parts, guns, melee, resources. There's a lot to craft. And you can outfit your truck accordingly, depending on the types of terrain you like to drive in, the types of interactions that you have. Your truck is as customizable as your character is. There is also an upgrade, which is a whole subset of ways to improve your truck, which we'll get into in a little bit. But I'm not at a repair shop, so I can't show you that menu. The crafting system requires different materials. So like if I wanted to make a seating pad, I would first need to learn the blueprints, which requires books, and then I would need to collect fiber and scrap paper to be able to craft the seating pad. And then after that, I would need to install the seating pad into my truck in one of these slots, and that costs scrap as well. Down here is the items that you have. So this is my total load, so I'm about half full. And you have resources, materials, equipment, parts, and food. And the equipment that I have on me, that I'm wearing, still counts as like items that we have. Here is the current tasks, if you're ever lost or needing direction. And you can also hit locate, and it'll show you where you have to go. So this is my truck, and we have to go back to Valleyville to collect our belongings. And then if you have any timed jobs, which are usually timed delivery quests that your NPCs offer you, it would tell you your shortest time delivery here. So let's go ahead and set out back to Valleyville. And the current priority is going to be getting through this initial scenario setup. Not long after setting out, you remember an old story, a story of an old timer once told me, about some hapless trucker who got so tired while driving through the Dustlands that he fell asleep in the middle of the plague zone. The infected didn't let him sleep for very long. You think it might be wise to hire some help. Basically, don't drive alone. So the current priority is to hire help. You must have 8 virtue to enter the city. My current virtue is 6. They don't trust you around these parts. So here are some options. I can pay a toll, I can bribe the guards, I can ask to speak to the leader, which spends clout, or force my way in, but I don't have a crew capable of that, so I'm just going to pay the toll. You've arrived in Valleyville, a large city in the central Dustlands, a lawful place with abundant resources and well-built amenities. First visit to Valleyville, gained experience, but lost 200 scrap from the toll. Arriving in Valleyville, you withdraw the remainder of your scrap. It should be enough to get you started. You also discover that you inherited 2 land deeds, one in Tannerus and one in Starlight City. They've been gathering dust for so long that you're not even sure which ancestor left them for you. You figure that out, these deeds are your birthright, you might as well try to claim them. So these are 2 quests to pick up. And we also gained 3,000 scrap and 1 core. A core is a item used to upgrade your truck in meaningful ways. So I'll show you that now that we're at a repair shop. You can decrease your fuel usage, increase your base haul, increase your comfort, increase your storage capacity, increase your tire durability, increase your max crew, and these cost scrap and core. And each one can be upgraded like I think 3 times, and they become very expensive. All right, so we want to probably fulfill the helping hand first, and then I'm going to open it up to you guys what you want me to do. So in order to hire some people out, inside of a town, there's a whole lot of different things to do, depending on its amenities. So as you can see in the top left, we have Valleyville services, bar, store, library, repair shop, rent, storage. Bars are chiefly where you're going to hire people. And all of the circles here, some of these locations are just like debris fields, which you can salvage for crafting material. Some of them are road constructors, but most of them are cities. Some of them are like scavenging camps, little more than scavenging camps. They're not really cities, but some have bars, some have stores. So let's go to the bar. So here are all the people in the bar hanging out. And without going too far into the story, one thing I can tell you is that having a female co-pilot is very useful. If you form a relationship with them, it's very good for your stress. So trying to find a compatible female to hire would be most beneficial, I would say. And in this bar, there's only like one... technically, this robot is female. There's only 2 females to be hired. And it might take me a little bit of time to try to find someone that is best suited for us. So in this case, we can either interact with them or hire them outright. If I hit hire, it will tell me a little bit about them. So this person is named Dewdrop. They're an animal handler. So they have high animal husbandry. But the stats that I'm mostly looking for in a companion to hire would be intellect, would be a really big one, and an attack, and maybe speech and focus. So I'm not really interested in hiring her. And then likewise, the robot over here is a service robot. It has okay intellect, really high speech. And also these companions, or these people that you can hire, they might belong to a faction. And they also have their own personalities. So like, this service bot likes to drive at night and really prefers to be in cities. Probably not someone ideal to be my co-pilot. Meaning that there's really no one worth hiring here. So I am instead going to pick up some work here. Work that will send me to a neighboring town. The other things that you can do in town is an inn. You can get... you can wait in the lobby, you can get a room, you can get a VIP suite, which is like sleeping and also stress reduction, or go to the restaurant for a meal. There's a store, and I'm definitely going to be going to the store before I leave this town, because I like to, depending on my destination, I like to do some trade on the way there. And then a library, and the library allows you to spend books that you have to learn blueprints. So I have 100 books, as you can see up in the top right. And I could start to learn these blueprints, but because I don't really have any materials to craft anything, I'm not going to do that just yet. You also have your city details of like what is tradable, what they need, what they produce, virtue required, things you stored, etc. So let's go ahead and look for some local work. So I'm going to talk to all the people that have deliveries and see where they want to take me. She wants to confess my love for me. Nope. Alright. So she wants me to bring art boxes to Clunkertown. And Clunkertown is a little west of me. What I like to do is talk to all the people in the bar. And I'm just going to race through the conversations here. So this is near Clunkertown. Clunkertown and road construction. So doing both of these would be really helpful because they're kind of grouped together, which is ideal. And I like to take a look at all of them to see if there's synergy between the destinations. So we've just talked to Tin Can. Here's Veteran. So Veterans is also kind of near Clunkertown and the Road HQ. And that's good enough for me. I'm going to get the Veterans task. I am going to get the Technicians task. And I'm going to get the Huckster's task. Done. So now if we take a look, oops. Stop. My truck is overloaded. So one thing that we could do is actually head back to the city. I'm not going to head back to the city. I'm just going to keep going. I don't mind being overloaded. We'll just be a little slow. So here are the 3 destinations. We have the Road Construction Bureau, we have Clunkertown, and we have Weekstock. And I'm going to queue up a move over to go to Weekstock first. And we're going to pass by the Goodson Farm on the way there. Why did I only have 2 female options? The other people in the bar weren't willing to be hired. If you don't see the name hire next to them, they aren't looking to be hired. They might sell you junk, or they might give you a delivery mission, or you can hook up with them. Get frisky is the term for that in the game. But you can only hire people that are looking to be hired in the first place. What do the blue circles mean? The blue circles mean that you have some sort of quest location there. So my 2 main storyline quests... Oh, hold on. Let me stop so I can show you. My 2 main storyline quests are here and here. And then I have deliveries here, here, and here. I just picked those up. You can see in the timed tasks, Weekstock, Clunkertown, and Road Construction. These are the 3 deliveries. And I'm delivering a bicycle box, an art box, and an art box. Some deliveries will actually have you buy things to deliver. So not all the time they will actually physically give you the items. In this case, they gave me the art boxes and bicycle box. Sometimes it will be like, deliver 50 ore to this town, and you actually have to go buy the 50 ore. My character's getting pretty tired, so I'm going to camp and sleep. And then set back out. So here I am in the Goodson Farm. Because I'm alone, I don't want to hang out here and search it or hunt here. I could do a trade. And actually, now would be a really good time to demonstrate trading. I meant to do that before I left Valleyville. So Goodson Farm has an excess or cheap chicken, pork, or vegetables, fruit, and scrap. And I'm heading here, which needs pork. So if I buy pork here and sell pork there, I will make good profit. So let's do that. I will buy... And it's also worth noting, most towns have around 2,000 to 4,000 scrap. So if I bought, let's say, 4,000 worth of pork, I am almost certainly not going to be able to sell all of this pork on arrival. It doesn't spoil, so I would have the opportunity to seek out another town that has need of pork. But if you're not looking to have your truck full of stuff that you can't hawk, don't buy roughly 1,900 or 2K worth of stuff. In this case, I'm going to buy 35 units of pork. And then I am going to leave. I also leveled up. When you level up, I'm now level 1, as you can see, LVL 1. I can pick a trait to focus on, and I'm going to level up my crafting skill. And that required some books. So I had 100 books, now I have 94. Books are purchasable or craftable, so it's not a big problem running out of books. Now, some of the other stats to look at is hunger and thirst. Thirst is fulfilled by drinking water, and hunger, drinking rations. You can cook for yourself, but it's easy enough to just eat rations, unless you are particularly good, if you have someone particularly good in the cooking stat. And I have just encountered the wooden crates. You spot a few unopened wooden crates scattered up ahead. The wood is rotting black, but the crates are still intact. I will search them thoroughly. Didn't find anything useful? Well, I'm going to camp and sleep. And then set on out, because my character was pretty tired. So this is a weather condition. I'm going to stop for a second. It's bad weather, and I'm also overloaded. The bad weather is reducing my horsepower by 1, and being overloaded reduces my horsepower even further. I can collect rainwater, and I got some wastewater. I don't have a water purifier installed on my truck, otherwise I would get normal water. And then the wastewater is up here in the plus 56. I can use this wastewater to cool my engine. So I can use, let's say, 8 of it to reduce the temperature of my engine, which has been going up as a result of being overloaded. I'm going to keep setting out. I don't really mind going 27 kilometers an hour. We're almost at our destination, which will lighten our load. And now it's heavy rain, so we're going even slower. All right, so here we are in weak stock. We successfully delivered, which meant that the owner of wheat stock, which is Millsec, increased relations with us, and we increased virtue because we fulfilled the contract. So we got 1,528 scrap and 3 clout. And as soon as you enter the village, you're stopped by a kindly old man. Hello, dearies. Do you have time to help out this little old lady? I'll pay you 40 food. What do you want us to do? Oh, you're such a peach. It's already harvest season, but my arthritis has been acting up. I couldn't possibly do all the harvesting myself, but I don't want my crops to just rot in the fields. Would you be a dear and help me out? Sure. So we're exhausted. You help the old lady with her crops. It's backbreaking work. You have no idea how that old lady managed to do this before. When you go to collect your reward from the old woman, she locked herself in the house. In a bucket outside the door is only 10 food. When you knock and tell her it's less than you agreed on, she shouts back through the door, take it or leave it, buckos. What's gotten into you? If I gave you all that food, I would, what would I have to eat? Trying to let an old lady starve? Oh well. So, this is a really important lesson. We are in the Dustlands. People suck. People screw you over. People try to kill you. That's pretty regular occurrence. All right, I am going to go into the... I'm exhausted, so I won't be able to leave the city. So I'm going to go into the inn and get a standard room for the night. So now that we have recovered our fatigue, and then we're going to go to the bar and see who there is to hire. So this is what I was saying before. Literally, nobody here is up for being hired. They have delivery contracts. They can sell me junk. Well, I can get frisky with them, but I can't hire them. So there's no one to hire here. I will check out their junk, though. My relationship with this dude is too low. He won't even sell me junk. What about you? So here is some junk. This scavenger mostly visits abandoned cities, so I am going to buy compounds. Now, for a new player, you wouldn't necessarily know what of this junk is useful, but I know well enough that compounds are really nice to have. All right. Let's go ahead and go to the store. And we had purchased... oh, you know what? It was salted pork that was in demand here, not pork. So I have a bunch of... Because I missed that because of the carriage return. So we have a bunch of pork that we're going to want to sell at some point. But I'm going to buy a few spare tires because they're cheap here. And then I'll also take a look at the next city that we're looking to go to. So if I wanted to see... Here's a really good use case for the search tool. Search. Needs... pork. So in green are the towns that need pork. So there really aren't any around me at the moment. I could go to Civitas, I could go to Final Frontier Rest Shop, so on and so forth. But essentially, the pork that I have on me right now, I'm not going to get a good price on. But what I can do is search for has pork. So, for instance, Happy Harvest Farm, which is just to my west, and Western Gas Station. The Western Gas Station allows pork to be a tradable item, and it doesn't produce it, which means I can probably sell it there, and that's actually not that far off my path. So that will be my next stop. And then let's see. This town has wheat, sugarcane, and tires that it produces. And none of my future destinations need those things. So I am not going to buy anything else at this town. I am just going to depart. So we're still looking to hire help. Hopefully we have more options for that soon. The other thing that I could do is the Western gas station that we're heading into Oh boy. Okay, good. That weather condition went away quick. Has a repair shop. So potentially upgrading the carry capacity of this truck might be useful. So here we are, a airplane. I'm going to only search it hastily because I am alone in my car and I don't want to get too tired. And we didn't find anything. Once I have some backup, we can definitely do those interactions in a more deep way. But being alone in your truck makes you pretty vulnerable. Thank you for tuning in to Dustland Delivery, which originally streamed live on Twitch July 23rd. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind I've asked for no backseating and also no spoilers, so thank you for respecting that. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow drivers.